Hey everybody, this is Rich and you're with South Florida Beekeeping with Rich. And today we're going to do the kind of video I wish more people would do. They will put their ideas up on YouTube, but you never really find out whether the ideas worked or not. So I'm going to show you how this worked. Good for the rest of you in the rest of the country, I guess, because you're probably just now getting into swarm season. We've been in it for almost 2 months. I decided this spring to make this 5-gallon bucket swarm trap. And I thought about it. I did some research online. Wasn't an awful lot showing up on YouTube, but I got a few ideas, and based on my conditions, I put together a swarm trap. Well, it was extremely successful. Within 5 days of putting it up, I had caught a swarm on it as a Russian scion. In other words, they were out of my own hive and bivouacking. Hived that swarm up, put it back up. Less than 5 days later, I caught my first swarm in it. Let them do their thing for 2 weeks, brought it down, did a cutout, hived that box up, put it back up. Then about 10 days after that, it caught another swarm and let it stay for a few weeks, brought it down, cut it out, and I haven't put it back up yet because I wanted to make a few modifications based on what I'd learned, and actually mostly because after I put the video out on making it, all of a sudden my feed was inundated with bucket videos. And where they were when I was trying to do my research the first time, I don't know, but I've gotten just pounded with bucket swarm trap videos, most of which didn't have anything I needed. So we're going to run through this. On the first swarm that I caught in the bucket, when I got to the point where it's on a pulley so I can just lower it, and I decided to lower it a foot a day, a foot a day, a foot a day, let the bees get used to it till I brought it down to table level so that when I transferred them, they were already right in the place they needed to be. And that worked out fine, except for one thing. About the third day of lowering it, I cleared the bottom of the crown of the tree that it was in, and it was in full sun. And I went, ooh, not a good idea. Now, one of the things I have is a roll, just about, of these dollar store sunshades, very cheap Reflectex, because in the summertime down here, it can get so hot that I'll take these and I'll put them on the side of the hive that's towards the sun track in order to keep them a little cooler. So this was readily at hand, and all I did on that day was basically to wrap it around the bucket, and it stayed there until that bucket was removed. But mental note was made that I wanted to go ahead and cover the bucket with Reflectex so that there'd be a little bit of insulation and a little bit more reflection and such to it. So that's what I did yesterday. And I do that by taking all-purpose spray adhesive, HDX in this case, Home Depot, own brand of spray adhesive. I sprayed the bucket on the outside with it. I sprayed the back of the material with it after I had cut it to shape, more or less, and slapped the two on. And that worked perfectly, but just to be on the safe side, I went ahead and put a piece of stainless steel tie wire. This is one of the most valuable things you can have in your shop, is just stainless steel tie wire.
Your fingers are blocking half of it.
Okay.
There you go. Okay.
So I put a strap of stainless steel tie wire, top and bottom, so that if in the sun and the heat, if the adhesive does happen to give way, it's going to stay put. Just wrapped it around it. Took the pair of pliers. Where did I attach it? Oh, there we go. You bring it around the back, you tighten it, you give it a few twists with the pliers, and put it out of the way. So that was the second thing. Now, an interesting thing that I read in some of the videos, I decided to put into application here. And that was several people who had covered the inside of their bucket traps with beeswax mentioned that the bees harvested the wax to use it in building the combs. And it's like, well, I hadn't thought of that one. That was new on me. I cover the inside of my buckets with sludge made left over from making propolis tincture. You've seen the videos on that probably. If not, go back and look at them. So here's a full jar of sludge. That's the end result of making many batches of propolis tincture, where you put in your propolis, you put in your alcohol, you draw off the alcohol once it's extracted the valuable aspect of the propolis, and you're left with a sludge. You keep pouring this off, and I just keep adding the sludge to one jar, and keep adding it until you've got that right there. Works beautifully. But like I said, I decided that if it helps the bees to build their comb faster, then I'm going to put some wax inside here. Now, for doing things like frames and all, this is what I use. It's a roller. It's a foam roller. It's totally saturated in beeswax. If I heat up a pot of beeswax, I stick this in it. In a couple of minutes, this becomes soft and flexible. And all I did was just run it around the inside like this. So you can see I slathered the inside top half with beeswax. Now, if I don't get a swarm in here in pretty short order, the wax moths down here are so aggressive that they will be in there and they'll be cleaning this out before you know it. Which is one of the reasons I didn't even consider beeswax in the first place, was because the wax moths are drawn to it so heavily down here. On the other hand, wax moths on wax is a smell bees are used to. They're used to moving into cavities where the wax moths have cleaned them out. So it is another form of attractant. It works either way. Put a few more holes up underneath the rim for a little bit of ventilation. Put a few more holes in the bottom for ventilation. And that brings us to this. Since the first thing that this bucket caught was a swarm on the outside, that is, this acted like a Russian scion, it was just a place for the bees to bivouac, I decided, well, I can't very well make something like this and still use it, but I could take 3 pieces of wood, or in this case PVC, and screw them on the bottom so we still have a nice stable bucket, but it gives them some place to hang if they want to come over here and bivouac in the first place. Still stable, still fine. The reason they look dirty, of course, is I immediately painted them up with the propolis so that it was like that on the outside too. I even painted the area right in here, though you don't see it, with the propolis, so that there was good traction for the bees right in this area. So, a few improvements. So we have Swarm Bucket 2.0. Did not see any need to improve the lid. Still liking what I did in the lid better than anything I've seen in any other videos. These sticks are on a 1 1/4 inch center rather than a 1 3/8 inch center, because the idea is we want them drawing brood comb in here. And they've done so just the way they were supposed to twice now. So there you go. I'm going to, one other thing. So I did a video where I showed you the way I normally put my lemongrass in, which is to cut a piece of oversized straw, saturate a piece of cotton with lemongrass oil and mash it in there. And this, I know, continues to smell wonderful for more than 2 months, because I've been using that particular setup for years. This year I decided to try these baggies with a paper towel in them, with, half of the baggie left unsealed and half the baggie left sealed. Literally within 2 weeks, I wasn't smelling anything out of those anymore. So I did go back to using my straw with some cotton in it.
Oh, a pin.
And a pin. Now I'll show you the pin here. Here. Can you get that okay?
Yep.
All right. And it was nothing to push that in there. I just pressed firmly for a little bit, and there it went. So there goes 2.0. It's going up immediately because there's bearding on hive number 1 this morning, and my hives don't beard.
When you put the cover on, which way do those racks go?
Entrance. These 2 screws show me the line up there. These are lined up so that they're directly in line with the entrance. Not a mistake, or not an accident. Always that way. So 2.0 going back up. We have. Oh, sorry, I almost forgot to mention one thing. Everybody else thinks that making sure everything inside here is dark and that there's no glow of light through the bucket. Well, that was never a consideration for me because I'm here in South Florida, which is like where bees originally came from. And I monitor a bunch of open air colonies down here. Our bees make big, mature colonies with 12 paddles of comb this big right on the branch of a tree in full sun. I know that the obsession with a dark space doesn't really faze the bees that much down here. But as it happens, putting the Reflectex on does serve that purpose as well. It makes for a darker cavity inside. So, okay, yeah. Would I have bothered to take a piece of brown craft paper and slide a sleeve of it inside the bucket like I saw one guy doing for this? No, not here in South Florida. It doesn't make that much difference down here. So that's it. It's a simple little video. I just thought I'd show you that after having caught 3 swarms in this bucket so far this spring, I thought I'd just go ahead and show you the improvements that I decided to make on it before I put it back up. So everybody have a great day. This is Rich, and I'll be seeing you again soon.